Morning, everyone. Looks like we are sitting down. So. Brian's a real trendsetter. Lovely to see you all here on this gorgeous morning, with the sun streaming in through the windows. And welcome to those online. And hope the sun's shining where you are too. Maria and I have been looking forward to sharing this space with you today. And as you can see, our theme this morning is being present in the midst of change. I must admit, we were up in Queensland last weekend for my nephew's wedding, and my two sisters have been up there for 10-15 years now, and I don't think they're ever coming back. They love the weather, although they did say that the last summer was the most brutal that they've ever had up there, with the humidity and the heat. So, and they've had a lot of rain this year, so we had a real mixture of weather. But I must admit, one of the things I like about Melbourne is the changeability. Well, not so much the changeability, but the fact that we do have seasons. That's what I tell myself anyway. It is nice to sort of feel that onset of spring being around the corner, and leaving winter behind. We'll move on to an acknowledgement of country. Have we got the words up there for that? Oh, they are there, yep. As we start today, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we are meeting today, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Today we do church on land that was stolen and never ceded. Sorry? Yes, sure. Yeah, thanks, Sarah. Yeah. Hartwell is a fully affirming community and fully committed to being a safe place for all people who are connected to this community, regardless of gender, sexuality, family background, economic situation, and regardless of how old you are, where you come from, what abilities you have, what languages you speak, what religion, spiritual path, tradition, and ethical conviction. Everyone is welcome here, and we want everyone to feel safe here. And Barb, it's good to see that you feel safe and you're sitting in the front row. So
nobody's in front of me. I get to see it.
Good on you. Barb Matheson's now going to come up and light the Christ candle for us. Thanks, Barb. And now I'll invite Maria to come up.
Let's begin with a period of presence. You may wonder why we're talking about presence today. I think it's very important to have the skills to be present when everything in our lives or in the world around us is changing. It's true that we really are in the midst of change in this turbulent world. When we're present, we're not living in the past or in the future. We are living in the present. But it's more than that, because presence is being able to be in the present with the fullness of our experience. So that means being present to whatever's going on in our bodies, whatever we're feeling, not being overwhelmed by our thoughts, but enabling them to just be there as part of our experience. So you could even say that being present includes being present to reality, whatever your definition of reality is. It's about the nature of existence and being present to what that really is, the truth of that. And when we're fully present, we're able to be present without grasping after the things that give us pleasure and without pushing away the things that we find painful or difficult. And these are the two strong tendencies that we have. It's part of human nature to grasp after the pleasant and to push away the unpleasant. So how would it be if we were fully present without grasping or without pushing away? It's not what comes naturally to us. I think what is very strong is a tendency to avoid things that are painful and difficult. And I know I can lose myself in all sorts of distractions as a great avoidance strategy. And I know I grasp after the things that I enjoy. So, I don't stop with one episode of my favourite show. I might have a binge, or I certainly can't stop at one chocolate biscuit. I don't know about you. But if we are able to be present with the fullness of our experience without pushing away the unpleasant or grasping onto the pleasant, I think we would just live our lives with a sense of calm and peace. So that's my aspiration in, doing my best to practice presence myself. So now I'm going to lead you in a short practice that I call the presence practice. You could do this several times in a day because it only takes 3 minutes. And especially in the midst of a busy working day where you might be a bit stressed, to make a conscious choice to switch off all of that for a few minutes and just be fully present to your experience for 3 minutes. It's not a big thing to ask of ourselves. So I really encourage you to give this a try in your life. And we'll do it now. I'll lead you just for 3 minutes. Okay. So before our 3 minutes begin, I like to suggest that the first thing you can start by doing is become aware of an intention. So make a conscious choice to be fully present for the next 3 minutes. Make a commitment to be fully present just for this next 3 minutes. In the first minute, I invite you to be fully present as you breathe. So being aware of the whole of the breathing experience and just being alive to that experience of the breath in the body and being present to it. Not judging or controlling the breath, simply allowing it to be there in our experience. Our breath is life. Moving on now and taking our awareness to our bodies. I invite you to be fully present to the experience of your body right now. Be curious about how you're feeling in your body. What do you notice? There may be some discomfort or pain, even if that's your experience in your body. That's simply what you're experiencing in your body right now. Simply be there with that experience without judging. Our bodies are alive with physical sensations. So let's pay deep attention to our bodies. Moving on to the last stage, I invite you to be fully present to your feelings. What do you notice you're feeling right now? It may be pleasant or unpleasant, or just neutral. Not judging the feelings, simply noticing what feeling tone is present right now. Thoughts often arise with feelings. If that's happening for you, you can put the thoughts aside for now and simply be with the experience of feeling. Feeling is so fundamental to our experience of what it means to be human. And so often we push away or avoid what's going on in our feelings. So let's be fully present to whatever we're feeling without judgment. Create some space in your heart for feelings to be present. close the presence practice. If you haven't already done so, we can return our attention to the room around us. And take something of that mindfulness and awareness that we've just cultivated as we go on to the next part of our contemplative gathering, which is going to be a reflection to music. And I'll just get the music going.
So in a moment, Maria is going to play a song, and the song is by Colin Hay. And it's called "Waiting for My Real Life to Begin." So probably quite familiar to some of you. I've only ever seen Colin Hay play live once, and that was at Danny's 50th birthday party. So that was pretty specky. But when it comes to being present, that can be really challenging when we're waiting for something, and particularly, I guess as younger children, younger people, just waiting for something to come or to happen just seems like, it's just never going to arrive. And I just need to grab my phone for 1 sec. Because I was reminded of something that John Kabat-Zinn said many years ago about mindfulness and being present. When it comes down to it, the challenge of mindfulness is to realise that this is it. Right now is my life. So whether we're waiting or whatever we're doing, this is all we've got. And I also really like, I think Rosemary might have put this in one of our monthly bulletins, but it's a quote from Dallas Willard, which is a similar sort of theme. The gospel is less about how to get into the kingdom of heaven after you die, and more about how to live in the kingdom of heaven before you die. And I find that really profound in terms of helping us think about this is what we've got, this moment in time. So I'll hand over, so Maria's going to play the song, and it's a fairly long song, but let's just sit with it and be with it as we listen to it this morning.
Any minute now, my ship is coming in. I'll keep checking the horizon, and I'll stand on the bow and feel the waves come crashing down, down, down on me. And you say, be still, my love. Open up your heart, let the light shine in. Don't you understand? I already have a plan. I'm waiting for my real life to begin. When I woke today, suddenly nothing happened. But in my dreams, I slew the dragon, and down this beaten path, up this cobbled lane, walking in my old footsteps once again. And you say, just be here now, forget about the past, your mask is wearing thin. Just let me throw one more dice, I know that I can win. I'm waiting for my real life to begin. Any minute now, my ship is coming in. I'll keep checking the horizon, and I'll check my machine. It's sure to be that call. Happen soon, soon, oh so very soon. It's just the times are lean, and you say, be still, my love. Open up your heart, let the light shine in. And don't you understand? I'm waiting for my real life to begin. On a clear day, I can see for a long way. On a clear day, I can see. See for a long
Meryl's now going to come and bring us a reading, and then the musicians are going to play some music for a few minutes as we reflect on the reading.
So this is from Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verses 1 to 8. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace.
So the theme for today is actually being present in the midst of change. And when we think about change, the word that comes to my mind, because I'm a Buddhist, is impermanence. And we all know that impermanence is true. We know that things don't last forever, that everything is constantly changing. And yet we don't live as if this is really true. We live as if death is not a reality that we have to think about. We live as if the possessions we acquire really matter. We live as if Pleasure can sustain us, and in the process of that, we're perhaps avoiding the reality of pain and death. With our attachment perhaps to acquisition or pleasure. But the reality is, change is constant and death is inevitable. And this is true for all of us. We've all known death in our own families and communities. Just recently, we had a farewell service after Lola Adam died. And the world around us is constantly changing, and the changes are not always for the good. We're seeing wars in parts of the world that are distressing, leading to pain, suffering and death for many. We're living in some sort of an economic crisis, even that if it doesn't affect us personally, it affects many people in the world. And we're living through a climate crisis. So the changes coming with climate change, we think we know what they are, but actually we don't know. And the changes that are coming are perhaps scary for you. I know they're scary for me. So that's the kind of world of constant change that we are living in. So I'd like to lead us in a reflection on the nature of change and impermanence. And we'll reflect on change in our own lives and in the world around us. And this will take maybe about 5 or 6 minutes. We'll see how we go. So let's start by just being grounded in our seats, bringing our attention back to our bodies and our breath and our feelings, and simply being present here as we do this reflective practice. Let's begin by remembering a time in our own lives when we went through a significant change. What was that change? And how did you respond to that situation? It may have been a difficult or an exciting change. Did we seek to avoid the reality of what was happening? Or did we grasp after some form of pleasure as a means of avoidance? Try to recall your feelings about that big change that was going on. And open a space in your heart to let that feeling be present right now in your experience. Reflect on how you responded in the midst of that change and how you felt in that experience. Following a similar line of reflection, bring to mind a change that's happening in your life right now. This change may affect you personally or the people in your world that you love. How are you responding in the midst of that change? Do you embrace the change with joy or seek out some form of distraction to avoid facing the reality of this change? What feelings does being in the midst of this change evoke for you? And as best you can, staying present to those feelings. This is your life right now. Not craving after more or pushing away the experience. Holding it lightly without judgment and being willing to feel whatever response arises with this reflection. And finally, let's expand our awareness outwards to the world around us and bring to mind an aspect of change that's going on in the wider world. Stay grounded and open as you reflect on some aspect of the world that may not be enjoyable, it may be distressing. What response does this evoke in you? What feelings are present in your experience as you reflect on change in the world around us? not grasping or pushing away, simply being present to that emotional experience. We're going to now hear a Buddhist reading that Rosemary will read for us. This is from the Tibetan Kangyo, which is their scriptures, and it's the teaching on impermanence.
Monks, 4 things are appealing, singled out, considered valuable, pleasant, and highly appreciated by everyone. What are those 4? Good health is appealing, singled out, considered valuable, pleasant, and highly appreciated by everyone. Good health, however, ends with sickness. Monks, sickness is neither appealing, nor is it singled out, considered valuable, pleasant, or highly appreciated by anyone. Youth is appealing, singled out, considered valuable, pleasant, and highly appreciated by everyone. Youth, however, ends with the ageing of the body. Monks, the ageing of the body is neither appealing, nor is it singled out, considered valuable, pleasant, or highly appreciated by anyone. Prosperity is appealing, singled out, considered valuable, pleasant, and highly appreciated by everyone. Prosperity, however, ends with its decline. Monks, the decline of prosperity is neither appealing, nor is it singled out, considered valuable, pleasant, or highly appreciated by anyone. Life is appealing, singled out, considered valuable, pleasant, and highly appreciated by everyone. Life, however, ends in death. Monks, death is neither appealing, nor is it singled out, considered valuable, pleasant, or highly appreciated by anyone. Thus spoke the Buddha. Having spoken, the teacher added these words: good health is impermanent, youth does not last, prosperity is impermanent, and life too does not last. How can beings, afflicted as they are by impermanence, take delight in desirable things like these?
Let's now bring these thoughts and feelings and perspectives to our time of communion. And so it's always a lovely thing to be able to share this time and this food together. And as we think about, I guess, the example of Jesus, he seems to me to be someone who spent most of his life living in the present. And certainly in terms of the people that he met and engaged with, he was regularly asking them to reflect on what was happening for them in the here and now, and what that was, what effect that was having on their lives or other people's lives. So yeah, I think Jesus was a good example of someone who lived in the present, and encouraged people to make the most of where they were at that time. So let's come to share this meal together as we remember Jesus. And partake of this wafer and juice.
We're going to close with a short poem that I'd like to share. It's called The Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. And to me, this is a poem about both impermanence and presence. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about your despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes. Over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. We're going to close now with some music from our musicians. Thank you.